everybody, this is Christy with Christy's Folk Confections, and I am just coming on today to show you how to make this adorable Smore Sundae, all made with clay and no spackle, and that is what I'm going to teach you today. There's been a lot of talk about piping clay, and I just want to say it's been out there for a while, and I have been actually piping it for probably over a year now, and I did a live doing something similar to this, I would say about a year ago or even more. I'd have to look, but it's been a while, and it is on my page, but I wanted to update things and the technique and stuff, and people were asking me to do a tutorial on this. And my cones, I also did these with all clay, and this one I actually did 3, so they're all clay. They are dry. I believe, I'm trying to think if I sealed these. I sealed this one, but I did not seal this one yet. So I will use a sealer on all my clay when it's all dry, and this is what I use, Mod Podge Super High Shine. Of course, they have the matte, and then they have ultra and high gloss or something like that, but this is the kind I like. And now, if you're worried about cracking, you can certainly put Mod Podge around your clay when you're done piping it. That will help prevent cracking. Now, something like this I wasn't too worried about because, you know, it's small, it's not pulling, you know, it's just a small item, and you don't really need to worry about cracking too much. But again, I do seal mine, you know, before I ship them or before I use them. So that's what I do. And it also makes your sprinkles stay on as well, and your glitter. If you're using glitter, when you spray that on, everything will be nice and hard, and you won't have a lot of you know, stuff falling off, sprinkles and all that in your packages. And so, and I also love the look of it when it's sprayed and it's all dry and everything. So as far as adding anything to my clay, I do not add anything to it. Some people do, and that is perfectly fine, and that is up to you. Again, I don't like to add a bunch of more products to stuff if I don't need to because of the cost. I think that fake baking is expensive enough, and you start adding and pouring things in, and then you need more ingredients. And I think what works for me, you know, I'm just going to keep doing it. If it isn't broke, I'm not going to fix it, right? So there's also a possibility too, and I haven't tried this, but I have read about it, is you can add water to your clay and mix that up. Now, when you're adding stuff, obviously it's going to get sticky, it's going to get messy. You know, just be aware of that. And then I don't know what the ratio is. There is no recipe. There's, you know, nothing out there that says, okay, add this much Mod Podge or water or glue to your clay. And then how do you know how it's going to dry? Is it going to crack? Did I add too much to it? Did I not add enough? And because I've been doing this for so long, I know the outcome of my items that I make. So I'm not going to be worried about shipping them off. I'm not going to be worried about, oh my God, you know, after the customer gets it, is it going to be cracking after a week? Because I know I've been doing it for so long that I'm not worried about that. So, like I said, what isn't broke doesn't need to be fixed, I don't think. So, with that said, when you are piping your clay, the more that you condition your clay, the easier it will be to come out of the tip. Now, I will show you the difference of clay that I have here. And, if you go way back, this is just our fake bake little community that we are new to this. We are all fairly new to this. But if you think about it or you look into it, there have been food artists out there for many, many, many years. Like Japanese food artists, that make the extravagant fake bakes, and they don't even call them fake bakes. It's fake food art is what it is. And they have been piping clay for years and years. They add things to their clay, I'm sure. It's new to us, but for many, many food artists, I don't think it's new at all. And it's just what works for that person, and adding things to clay is not new, in the food art industry either. So I think what we're doing, what we are making and producing and selling, it depends on your business, like what you want to produce and what outcome you want to have. So I do suggest, if you add anything to your clay, I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm just saying, if you add anything to it, make sure that you test it before you ship it off or sell it. Make sure you know what's going to happen a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Make sure, because I wouldn't want you to have your customers say, hey, this is either melting or sliding off or cracking. Now, I have been putting clay in my cups for well over a year as well. Instead of spackle, I will line my cup with clay, and then I will line it with Mod Podge. That way it helps from the cracking down the line. Now, again, I'm not going to say it will never crack. There are times that there will be small cracks, and you have to let this dry before you go in and do your other step. And then if there is a crack, then you can fix it. You can put some clay in there, you can put some glue in there, you can put your Mod Podge in the crack. But if you line this up thick enough with clay, you cannot do a thin layer, or I guarantee you it's going to crack. I'm not doing that today right now, because I've done clay in my glasses. Although this is a different technique. I'm going to do this one. But if you go look on my lives on my page, I've done cups and shakes with clay inside and not spackle. And there's a technique for that as well. So that's what I have showed you many times. I did a video on it for the secret recipe group with an extreme shake. That's what I do. That's mainly what I like to do is extreme shakes. So I make sure whatever technique I'm going to use is going to work, because down the line you want to make sure your product lasts. So with that being said, if you know somebody that has invented it or was the first to come up with it, I think it's the right thing to do is give that person credit. So I think that it's just the right, honest thing to do. This was not my idea. Piping clay was not my idea. It was talked about on a live, and somebody asked another crafter about piping clay. I'm not sure who it was, but that was talked about a little bit on the live. I believe I did a live after that one about a week or so later, and I demonstrated how to pipe the clay. I think I was the first one that demonstrated it. I am not positive, but I don't know of any other live where somebody demonstrated piping clay way back when. Like I said, this was over a year ago that I did mine. So it may have been somebody else, or I may, or it might have been me. I don't know. But I'm done with all that talk. But anyway, let's do one of these. And because I do not have another cup like this, I'm going to use this one. I get mine from Amazon. So I am using white Area 54 outlet and wholesale clay. Now, I'm also using the brown. This brown, would you believe, came from Playco 3. And it's been a while. Playco 3 has been not selling clay for a really long time, and they had a big sale when they were going out of business. Or not, I'm sorry, they are not out of business. They were going to be done selling clay. Now, this is very sticky and wet. And this has been sitting here for, oh my gosh, I want to say at least a year or more. And then you'll see this is not as sticky. It's, you know, it pulls apart like this. So you want to condition this so it is, you know, warming up. And as it warms up to your hands, it will become more sticky. So the more you do this, the easier it's going to be to pipe. Okay, so it's not so dry and hard. Okay. And I conditioned this piece as well. So I'm not going to pipe just yet because we got to do the inside of the glass. Okay, excuse me 1 second. Okay, so the first thing I did was I put some, this is fake nuts that we use. And I have this huge bag. I think I ordered it from Amazon. This will last me for 20 years or more. Well, my whole entire life, I'm sure. Yes, it's called K-Cob KT bedding. It's animal bedding. So you can get this, you know, at a pet food store. You can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure. I would imagine that Walmart probably has some. But I didn't realize what a big bag I had ordered. So, yes. So, I'm going to add a little bit of glue. So, I have about this much in there. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And I hope my lighting is okay because it's terrible up here. I know. I tried to add some more lights up here. And I don't know why it's so dark because, well, I don't have a window in this room for one. But I added a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to, just to make sure that, you know, that bedding, that fake nuts doesn't, well, I might as well use what I already have out here. Just so it doesn't move around down there. So the next thing we're going to do is make layers of, like the clay or the sundae, or if you want to call it a dessert. Now, because this is narrow down here, I don't need that much. So I just roll it in my hands like this, and then flatten it a little bit, and then just put it in there. Now, what I do, because any glass you use, you're going to have to, that's another thing, you don't want a narrow top because you're going to want to put your clay and stuff in here for this particular item. For this fake bake, you're going to want a cup that you can put your hands in, you know, or use this. This is my little rolling pin. So I just, you know, push it down there, make a nice layer, and you can go thicker or, you know, less if you want. Totally up to you. And I have already conditioned this as well, so I'm going to put this layer on there. Okay. So, make sure that your layers connect because remember, clay shrinks. So you want to be able to have your clay connect to or adhere to the last layer. So you don't want it to pull away from this other layer when it starts drying, because it will shrink. Okay, so now we're gonna put some more of the fake. I did have a container of this, and I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue in there because we're gonna do our fake nuts now, so that it has something to adhere to and stick to. Whoops, how did that get in there? I have a pink sprinkle in there. I don't know how that happened. Okay, so it's nice and flat, so that's how it looks so far. And then we're going to go ahead and do our white again. Just take a ball and roll it, flatten it, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here. You can use tacky glue, or you can even use super glue, but that is you'll need a lot. So I have a glue string here, and these things are expensive. Super glue is not cheap, and the clay will also adhere to it too, so it shouldn't be moving around at all, really. And then we're going to do our brown again. And just conditioning it with this piece. And like I said, this is really wet, sticky. I don't think I would use this clay for like, like covering a cake, like a styrofoam base. I'm not sure, because I have a feeling it would crack because it is so sticky, and unless you put like, you know, a nice good layer of Mod Podge with it. I have only used this brown for like small items like this, so I'm not sure. I mean, it's good in a way that it's sticky, but then in another way, it has its pros and cons either way. So okay, that's looking nice. And then let's do our glue again. And also, I like this method because with the way that it's going in the cup here, because you don't have to worry about cracking. You know, like if you layer it like I was doing, like I told you about how I do shakes and stuff. You know, there's always that possibility. But with this, when you layer it like this, it's less likely to crack. So next layer is going to be the white. I'm going to probably need, yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more. Well, I have some here. I don't know why I didn't see that. I'm also going to be making some marshmallows, so to put on here. Okay, so let's, now that the top is, we're getting to the top, it's a bigger, more area to fill. So I'm just going to use a little bit more clay, and then let's do our glue. There we go with glue strings again. Okay, now the you know, I did put a layer of Mod Podge on here now that I'm thinking about it, because it wasn't Mod Podge, it was tacky glue, because I wanted to add the nuts, the fake nuts. So I did, it's kind of a sealed already, you know, top already, because I did put the tacky glue on, but it's not like all over like I would like it to be, so I will still spray it when I'm done and it's all dry. I also don't like Mod Podge for the fact that it yellows. You know, as it ages, as something ages, it may yellow it. So I've had that happen. So I do like the tacky glue, this. I do use this more than Mod Podge. Now this, I would not worry about, you know, it yellowing or anything like that. But there are times where things, you know, depending on what it is, will tend to yellow a little bit with Mod Podge. It just depends. I don't know why that happens, but yeah, and Mod Podge is nice. It's a little bit easier to use because it is runnier than tacky glue. So that is a nice thing about it. And it just depends on what I'm doing, what I'm making, if I use it or not. I just tend to have more tacky glue around than I do Mod Podge. And that stuff gets expensive. So now we're to the top now. And we're going to put some glue on, and then we're going to layer it with our white. Okay. And now, because I'm going to be going over the edge with my dripping, I'm going to add some tacky glue all the way around. And it don't have to be a lot. Just enough for it to stick. And we're not going to go way down far because we don't want to cover up all of our pretty clay and fake nuts. Okay. So you're going to take your first layer, that's going to be your dripping. And for this, I'm going to roll it out a little bit, just to make it a little bit, you know, bigger. Oh, my table's been sticking and I don't think I got anything on there. Well, I must have though. All right. So we're just going to push that down, and then we're going to start making our dripping. So just bring it down. And some can go lower than the rest, just so it's not all looking like it's perfect. Okay. And then we're going to do our brown. This even gets stuck in my nails because it's so sticky. I did just get some glitz and glue dark brown in. I did order some, but I kind of wanted to use this up as long as I'm doing brown. Might as well use it up. Okay, so this don't need any glue, so we're just gonna, I'm just trying to think. I don't want it to cover the, hold on, I don't want it to cover completely the white, so I'm just gonna use my cookie cutter, because if I bring this big piece on there, it's gonna cover up my white, all of it, and I don't want that. Okay, so now we can start bringing it down. And if you want it more, say, on this side or something, just bring your thumb from the middle to the side, and then you'll have like a nice dripping there. Okay, so that's how that looks now. All right, so now for the piping. I use a Wilton bags, and I believe this is a 16-inch. And I don't think you need a 16-inch, but this is what I have. I like these because they're stronger. I do have the Amazon piping bags, and I do like those. They're thinner. But because we're piping the clay, you want something that's going to stand up to, you know, the pressure that you're going to need to push. So I do like these for that because they don't usually tear. And then I have a 1M tip. Let me see if it is on here. Yes, it is. Okay, but it is a 1M tip. So it's a star tip. I either use the 1M or a 2D. Okay, so let's get our clay. Now, if you want your top to be more white, or if you want it to be more chocolate, obviously you would, you know, use more of that color. I wish I would have used a little bit more white in here. So I'm going to try to see if my white will stand out a little bit better this time around. Now, like I said, we don't have to, you know, do much with that because it's already sticky. If you have the Modelite clay from Walmart, that white clay would look, or not look, it will look fine to it, but it will be good to use with this too because it is slimier and wetter. So if you do have that, that is a really good brand to use too. I don't have any of that because my Walmart never sells that. I don't know why it is. And I have tried to order it online and it always says not available. So I don't know. But that clay would be really good to use for piping. So, and as you can see, I'm really conditioning this well. And then there's a couple ways you can do this. So if you want, say, like, you know, a Dairy Queen, if you have the vanilla and the chocolate together, you end up having white on this side and then chocolate on this side, or vice versa. Well, if you want it to be blended in more than that, then, like swirled like mine, then you're going to, I'll show you how to make that happen. You're going to want to twist your clay colors together, where if you just want white on one side and chocolate on the other, you don't need to twist anything together. And you can see I'm not being very like particular because it's going in a piping bag. And some brands of clay are, you know, more sticky than others. There's so many people selling clay now that, you know, I have ordered many different brands, and for the most part, they're similar. And also it depends on, you know, where they're coming from, how long it's been sitting, and all that. So, like I said, I've had this for forever, this brown, and it's not dry out at all. So I'm just going to put my two clays together because I'm going to have a twist to it. I want it to be, my ice cream to be twisted with the colors. So you're just going to turn your roll here. Just keep turning it until you think it's looks good. And then I'm just going to fold it in half because we're going to have to fit that in the piping bag. I'm going to take my bag, and this is a little dirty because I've used it before, you see, and I've used it for this one. And all you do, when you're done, you can either turn it inside out, take a piece of clay, and then get your pieces out of there, and you can use it again. So, and then you can put your clay, you know, back in the bag or whatever you want to save it for, and use it for another thing. So now we're going to just push it down. Okay. So we have this now. See how it's all swirled? Okay, now we're going to start piping, and you do not need anything. I don't need anything on here because it is so sticky. However, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Let's just do it anyway. I would feel better. I don't think you need to, but just to be on the safe side, let's just put another, because I've been talking and it might be starting to dry out a little bit. So let's just be safe and do it anyways. Okay, it just takes a second anyway, so. And that just gives it a little bit extra security that it's gonna adhere good. Also, I don't have a piece of clay out here. I'm gonna put a little piece of clay in the middle, just just for, to give it a little bit more stability. Like you want something in the middle of this so that it doesn't like lean inwards. So I'm just making a ball of clay, and I'm just going to put it like right there. Okay. And then for more stability, we are going to add a toothpick. Just to be safe, okay? And I have fake nuts everywhere. I just want to make sure I have a good side, if there's a good side. And I don't want a seam of my cup, cup in the middle here, so we want the seam on the side. All right, here we go. Now, if you want to turn your bag, then you'll have another color opposite of the color before that, or the layer, I should say. And I'm going to just move some down here. Okay. And you see why I put that in the middle, because it'll give it some stability so that there's not empty air there. Okay, I'm just going to push this down. So that's how it looks so far. Now, with spackle, you don't usually have to stop and push or whatever. Well, you do have to push it down, but I mean, you still have to have it flowing really well. And don't get me wrong, I still like spackle for a lot of things. I use spackle all the time. So it's just certain things that I like the look of the clay with, especially for colors. If I need a certain color, I will use clay for sure. Like if it's something if it's a dark, vibrant color that I need, I will use clay. Because you can't really get that with spackle. I'm just trying to see what side I want this to go on. Probably this side. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna go with this side. And I probably could have used a little bit more white on the top. So next time I will add more white. I don't think I added a lot of white. I mean, I should have added more than I did. And as you push down, no matter if you add anything to it or not, if you're doing several colors, it will start bleeding in together, as you're pushing down. So it won't be as vibrant as, when you first started. So that's just how it is. No matter if you add anything to it or not, it will mix, the two colors will mix. So if there's any areas that you see that you don't like, you can go back in and fix anything with your piping. You can take this out if you want, and you can even, add some white and pipe maybe some white, another area, another circle of white. But I think I'm good with this. And then you can also cover any areas that you don't like with maybe your marshmallows or clay, or I have these little graham cracker thingies. I'm not really hiding anything with those, but I actually use those. I had a order for some iced coffee, and I was using resin, and I had some resin left over, and then I just poured the leftover resin in this mold right here. And I used that one and this one. And this mold is from Area 54. So I like that mold because it's got all kinds of little candies and stuff. So now I'm going to just add some marshmallows. And I just roll them like this. And then roll between your fingers. That's kind of big. Let's not make that so big. Okay. There's maybe 2 of them. Okay. And then I have my little embellishments. I have some chocolate chips. You could put any type of little chocolate pieces. Okay, so there I don't know, sometimes I use rounders marshmallows and sometimes I use square ones. Alright, so we got those. And I am just reaching for a box of toothpicks because I was out. Now I'm not going to add a straw to this because I did this spoon instead. So this is the spoon I did. And I can show you how to do that. All right. So I think I'm going to put my I don't know if I'm going to want to use this or not. Is that too big? I think I will use this. Okay. This was also from resin. I don't have any more of these little ones left. I can make them with clay though. That would be fine. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of super glue, and I cannot believe I do not have my good super glue. I don't have any more left. I thought I did. And I just have this cheapy stuff. So that's what I'm going to be getting tomorrow. But anyways, it's super glue, so whatever. Okay, so that's how that looks. All right, and then I don't want to put anything big on the other side, so I'm going to put this little piece. I do not want to get super glue on my hands, and this stuff is messy. Ugh, don't ever get the cheap stuff, guys. Not this cheap stuff. Like, you can get the ones, the other bottle brand, like the that Dollar Tree carries. This comes 2 to a pack, and I hate it. It's a mess. Ugh. Do not want that all over. Okay. So I have those candies on that, well, whatever you want to call it, on that side. Alright, so now we're going to do the marshmallows. I always use a toothpick or two. Well, not two. I either use a full one or half a one, depending on how on what I'm doing. And this is very sticky, so I'm just gonna, I don't need any glue. And you see the toothpick goes right in. Actually, I'm gonna put the toothpick in first, and then my marshmallow, because otherwise it'll come out the top sometimes. Okay. Let's put one right here. Well, let's go up a little bit there. And I'm gonna put a bigger one, I think. There. And then I want one right here. And I'm gonna just cut that down a little bit. Okay, so we got that all done. Hope you guys can see okay. Alright, so next is our chocolate chips. I have white, and then I have chocolate. I also have this. I think I'm going to use a cup of white and a cup of chocolate. And I'm not even going to attempt the super glue on these little things, because I will for sure get it on me. And like I said, I'm not going to put any straws in, but you certainly can. And if you do, you can just use a skewer and then just poke it down in there. Okay, I have marshmallows in here too, but they're very little. Okay, so that's how the front looks. And I'm going to just go to the back. I'm going to put a marshmallow in the back. I'm not going to worry too much about the back with you guys, because I know it gets long. And obviously if I did the front, you guys know how to do the back. because I pushed this big piece down so hard, or so far, I'm going to pipe a little bit of clay behind it, just so that it doesn't fall backwards. And there. So it's got something to lean on. When you push things down, the clay will, you know, it'll go down as well. So you just gotta be careful when you put stuff in your topping here. And you can always fix it too, so just like I did. I'm just gonna put one more because you guys got the idea. As long as I'm back here, I guess. Oh. All right. All right, so that's the back, and this is the front. Okay. Now, we can do our dripping. And you don't have to do this part either. I mean, it's fine the way it is. All I do with that is just take another little ball and then squish it, and then put your thumb like this and your finger, and on one end, and there you'll have the dripping. And there's the chocolate one. Let's see, let's do chocolate one. Oh. Sticking everything. Oh, this chocolate is so soft. And I did get some on there, dang it. That's okay, we just took it off. It just gives a little bit, you know, a little bit of character, I guess, dimension. Okay. Now I'm just going to make 3 marshmallows for the bottom. Okay. Now, because it's glass, we're going to have to use our lovely super glue. It's glass that we're sticking it on. This stuff is horrible. Ugh, so mad. Okay, so I'm just putting the super glue on the marshmallow. Try not to get it on me. So I got those down there. Then let's do, I'm not even going to use that. I'm going to go back to the tacky glue because it's only going on the clay here, so that's fine. And then I am going to have to put one on the glass on this other side. Do I want to put one on the glass? I don't know if I do or not. Let's try it. Oops. Okay, I'm over the super glue thing. Yuck. Alright, so that's how that looks. Now, we're going to add, well, let's do the nuts first. So, we're just going to, and I just hit this with my nail. Careful when you grab it now, if you're this far, because now we have this, and we have that down there. Okay, so we're just going to grab our tacky glue. And again, this don't have to be like the whole entire thing. We're just going to add the fake nuts now. So if you want to do your sealing at another time when it's all dry, and then like do your spray. But I'm just doing this part way so that the nuts have something to stick to. So, I mean, as long as you're here, you can certainly just go ahead and seal it with the tacky glue. Okay, and I got some on my brush here yet, and then I just need a little bit more. You know, and just think of all the colors you can do, like, you know, you could do like a Halloween color, like orange and black, or orange and purple clay, or just do one solid color. I think the marshmallows bring out the white. You know, I wanted more white up here because it blended in. So I do like the, you know, the little chocolate pieces and the marshmallows add some white too. So now, before our stuff dries, we're going to add the nuts. However, that's one thing with tacky glue. You do not have to worry too much about it drying fast. Mod Podge does dry quite a bit faster. So there's no way to really do this gracefully. I just have to tip it. And you can also add like, oh, you can add chocolate sprinkles. I do have those, but I think we got enough going on. So I didn't want to add those to the first one, and I don't think I'm gonna with this one either. However, you know me, I like my extremes. Alright, a little bit to the back. And then a little bit on the chocolate dripping. I make a mess. It's nice because you don't have to have that, you know, the paper towel roll and stuff in the inside of the glass, and then that chocolate, or not the chocolate, the cardboard piece. It's nice that you can fill it with, you know, with whatever you're making with the clay. I just like the looks of this so much better. Okay, so I think we're good. Now we're just going to add chocolate, a little bit of chocolate dripping. And I'm going to see if this is cooperating. Last time it didn't. I don't know why. I do not know why this gets so clogged up all the time. I might have to use a different one. It's almost brand new. Let's try that. There's something stuck in there. It's coming out weird. Okay, so I just put them on, I put the chocolate on the marshmallows. Just a little bit, not a ton. It always looks so much cuter with dripping, I think. And then I put some on here, just to make it look a little bit wetter. And on the marshmallows down here. And then you make it look like the chocolate chip is melting. And I'm just going to put a little bit by the chocolate chip here. Okay. And one in the back. And then I'm going to get my white and just do a little bit on this white dripping. And the reason I did this is because I want to put some nuts on those drippings. So I'm just going to put a little bit coming down. A little bit on the chocolate dripping. Careful where you grab. This thing is full. Okay, I think we're good. So big I can hardly get it in here. I think it turned out cute. So it's quite a bit bigger than the other one just because of the glass. And of course you can add whatever else you want to add, candies or glitter. I don't want to add any glitter just because we don't need it. And then for the spoon, I'm going to show you how I did that. I just got a plain one here from Hobby Lobby. They're 99 cents. And I cannot remember where they're at. Oh, they're by the paper products, like the paper plates and stuff, and the napkins and all that, I believe. Okay, so for this, we have a little bit of, let me see what I got left. Yeah, I should have enough in here. Definitely have enough in here to pipe on here. This piece was a little dry, so I took that out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm debating if I want to use, yeah, let's see. I'm going to use the super glue just because I want to make sure that it sticks. It's a hard surface, and then the clay, so let's just make sure. Even though I do not like that stuff. And we're just going to pipe it on. Hold your spoon if you have to. And then bring it up. Okay, I think. So there's a little bit of white there, but it's mainly chocolate now that it's down to the bottom of the bag. And let me see, what did I do? Oh yes, I did a chocolate piece. Whoops. I did a chocolate chip. And trying to find my spoon. Here it is. Okay, so I had a chocolate piece there and then the marshmallow there. Let's do a white one because we don't need chocolate. Any more chocolate. And again, I'm using this just because I don't want super glue on my fingers. And because it's going on clay, it will stick. It's going to take longer to dry, but it will stick. Okay. I'm just going to move that back a little bit. Okay. And then we had, I don't have another marshmallow. This is a really little. No, oh, let me quick make one. I didn't think this video was going to take me so long. That's okay. You guys can speed up, forward, or go back, whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's do, again, our super glue right here where I want the marshmallow. Okay. And then we're just going to take our chocolate. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this to the clay for our fake nuts again. And there we have it. And last but not least, I make bows. I love to put bows on everything. If you guys don't want to watch me make a bow, you just go ahead and turn me off. Because I do like them. I do like to make bows with my different drinks and stuff and shakes. So I just take a piece of wire, and then I take my ribbon, make a loop, make another loop, pinch it in the middle, and take your wire. It don't have to be this big, by the way, the wire. And then fold it up. Make sure your loops are even though before you do that. See, they're even. And then twist in the back. Now this one is a bigger bow. It's going on in the cup. For the spoon, I'll make a smaller one. Oop. And just straighten it out if you need to pull on it or anything. It's a little long. I'm just going to cut a little bit off and slant my ends. And I'm going to cut the wire off. Most of it, not all of it. So you want about this much to go into the cup, so don't cut it all off. I'm going to move this over so I don't bump it. And see where I want it. Don't want it on this side. Yeah, I do. Okay. So all I do for this is I just put some hot glue. I put it a little bit on the wire, somewhat, and then on the back of the bow where the wire is. Okay. And then, ouch, that hurt. I'm just gonna put it right here, right on the side. And I'm just going to shove it in the clay and then push it in the middle there with my fingernail. I have glue everywhere on me. So doesn't that make a nice, just a nice little touch? And if you want, you can even put like a piece of candy there in the middle of the bowl, like a chocolate chip or something. I'm just going to leave that. And then for the spoon, I make a real little one like this. Get your wire. Same thing, just make it smaller. Make your 2 loops. Put your wire in the middle. Bring them up. And then twist. There. This one I'm going to cut way close down to the bow, to the ribbon. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to hot glue this one on here. Now you can either put it here like I am, or you can put it on the end here. And there we have it. There. All right. We are all done. So this is what we made. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm sure there will be questions. And I obviously do not mind any question. No question is silly. If you're new, I'm sure, you know, like I did, I had a lot of questions when I first started. So don't feel silly about asking anything. Or if you need any links to anything, just let me know. Again, I will spray this when it's dry. I'll give it a few days and then we'll be good to go. If you're wondering about shipping, I wait at least a good week for this to dry. Kind of about the same amount of time as spackle, just because it's so thick, it's big, there's a lot in there. And this has been done for, I want to say three or 4 days, and it's completely dry, but you never know on the inside, you know, if it's dry. So I always give it a good week. So, but yeah, that's how we do that. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to see your guys' take on it. And if you do, you know, different colors, which I'm going to be doing, well, I'm going to be off for my surgery, so I shouldn't talk too much about doing something because I'm not going to be doing too much. But I would like to try the different colors for Halloween and stuff and Christmas. So yes, let me know if you liked it and if you have any questions, and I will see you next time I do a tutorial or maybe even a live. You never know. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.